The Grand Hall of the Galactic Council was filled with soft lights and quiet voices. Representatives from 50 alien species sat around a glowing round table. Their robes were clean. Their faces were calm. Peace had lasted for hundreds of years in the galaxy, and today's meeting was about trade routes and food supply. High Speaker Vareen, a tall creature with silver eyes and smooth blue skin, tapped his crystal rod. The hall went silent. "We welcome the new year of peace," he said. "Let us begin with good news." Suddenly, the room went dark. A sharp alarm rang through the air. Red lights flashed. Every translator device stopped working for 5 long seconds. The council members looked at each other, confused and afraid. "What is this?" someone asked. "Is it an attack?" "No one attacks the council." Then the main screen lit up. A fleet of unknown ships was shown entering council space. The ships were massive, black like burned metal. Their hulls were damaged, dented, but still flying. Strange red stains covered them. They didn't match any known ship in the galaxy. Council members leaned forward. Some stood up. A few began to whisper. "Who are they? Are those blood marks?" "Impossible." An assistant ran into the chamber, shaking. "They come from a planet called Earth," she said. "They call themselves humans." A silence heavier than metal filled the room. Earth, a forgotten planet. A young species. Not important, not powerful, not part of the council. "How did they reach us?" a council elder asked. "They crossed 3 dead zones," the assistant answered. "They destroyed 4 pirate fleets along the way." The main screen changed. A human face appeared, rough, scared, with cold eyes. His uniform was dark gray, his voice steady. "This is Commander Ash of the United Human Fleet. We request permission to land and speak." The council paused. High Speaker Vareen blinked twice. "Request?" he said quietly. "That looks more like a demand." "Should we allow them in?" asked another. "We don't know what they want. We can't ignore them." Vareen nodded slowly. "Let them in, but keep the shields ready." The human ship landed outside the council hall. Its legs hit the ground like a hammer. Smoke rose from its engines. The doors opened with a loud hiss. A group of 10 humans walked out. 5 men, 5 women, all dressed in armor that looked old and used, like it had seen many battles. Their boots were heavy. Their eyes scanned everything, not with fear, but with control. The council watched from inside, every movement recorded. "Why do they look so tired?" someone whispered. "They've been through something," said another. The humans entered the hall without bowing, without asking. They stood in front of the council table. "I am Commander Ash," the man said again. "Earth sends greetings." High Speaker Vareen stood. "Earth was not invited." "Earth never needed your invitation," Ash replied. Whispers broke out. No one had ever spoken like this to the council. "We sent signals for help," Ash continued. "We begged. We screamed. No one came. So we learned to survive alone." "What are you talking about?" Vareen asked. "Survive what?" Ash looked up. His voice lowered. "War." He pressed a button. The chamber screen showed dark footage, shaky, loud, full of chaos. Human soldiers fighting monsters in black space. Explosions, screams, blood, fire. The creatures were unlike anything the council had seen. Twisted, huge, with glowing green eyes. "They came from beyond the galaxy," Ash said. "They destroy our moon bases, burned cities, killed billions. We fought back. We won. But we carry the cost." A close-up image showed a human ship, its front burned and stained with dried blood. Real blood. "You painted your ships with blood?" a council member asked in horror. Ash nodded. "Ours. Theirs. It doesn't matter. We want you to see what war looks like when no one helps." The room was silent again. Vereen looked pale. "Why have you come now?" "To ask one question," Ash said. He stepped forward, voice cold as space. "Why did you leave us to die?" The chamber was quiet, too quiet. Commander Ash's question echoed in the air. "Why did you leave us to die?" High Speaker Vereen stood frozen. The other council members avoided looking at the humans. Guilt, confusion, fear, it was all there, hiding behind their silence. Finally, a small alien with golden skin spoke. We never received your messages." Ash's face remained still. "We sent over 200 distress calls, across 3 star systems, to every known council frequency." Another alien, tall and covered in blue feathers, added, "It is possible they were blocked or lost." Ash walked forward slowly. "You didn't lose our messages. You ignored them." He raised a small device and tapped it. A hologram appeared, old, flickering, with static noise. A human woman's voice came through, broken but desperate. "This is Earth Outpost 7. We are under attack by unknown forces. Requesting help. Please. They are everywhere. We cannot." The message cut off with a loud scream. Ash turned off the hologram. That was just one of many. All ignored. A few council members looked shocked. Others looked guilty. Vereen finally spoke, his voice weak. "Why would we ignore this? What reason would we have?" Ash stared at him. "That's what we came to find out." He turned to his crew and nodded. One of the human officers stepped forward and activated a large device. A 3D map of the galaxy appeared in the air. Points of light moved, showing ship routes and known threats. But something was wrong. A massive dark zone blinked on the map, a place far from council space, far from safety. It was marked XAR, Q-Will territory. "What is this?" a council member asked. Ash answered, "The war zone. We called it the Dark Border. You never mentioned it. You never warned anyone." Another human stepped forward. She was younger, with a scar across her cheek. Her voice was sharp. "The Xarkol came from deep space. No communication. No peace offers. Just attacks." The map zoomed in. It showed burning planets, destroyed space stations, drifting wreckage. "They took our colonies one by one," she continued. "They didn't want resources. They wanted extinction." The council members looked at each other in panic. "We've never seen this enemy," said the feathered alien. "Are you sure they were real?" Ash didn't blink. "We lost 9 billion people. We're sure." He showed another recording. Human soldiers running through metal corridors, chased by insect-like creatures twice their size. Screaming. Gunfire. Explosions. The video cut off again. "They don't just kill," Ash said. "They erase. Planets. Cities. Memories." "Why didn't we detect them?" asked Vereen. Ash looked straight at him. "Maybe you didn't want to." A quiet gasp filled the chamber. "You think we did this on purpose?" Vereen asked, angry now. "That we chose to let you die." Ash didn't answer. He didn't need to. One of the other humans spoke instead. Someone new. "We found this in an abandoned council relay station." He held up a broken black box. Inside it was a crystal chip. "Encrypted data logs," he said. One entry said Earth's warnings were received, but marked non-priority. That made the chamber explode with noise. Who marked it that way? "This is false. Earth is lying to trap us." Ash raised his voice. "We don't need to lie. We survived hell. We don't need your pity. We want truth." Vereen looked pale again. "If what you say is true, then we failed you." Ash gave a small nod. "Yes, but that's not the end." He pointed at the star map again. A new section lit up. Another dark zone. Further out. Larger. The Xarkol were just the beginning. Everyone stared. "What do you mean?" asked one council member. They were scouts, Ash said, for something worse, something older. We found signs, ruins, broken ships, strange signals. The chamber went quiet again. Ash looked around the room. You sit here in your peace. You play politics. You drink and trade and debate. But there is a storm coming, and we faced its first shadow, alone. He paused. We came here not just for answers. We came to warn you. A heavy silence filled the air. And if you don't listen this time, Ash said slowly, then we will do what we always do. What's that? Asked Vereen. Ash turned to leave. Survive. Above the blue and green planet, space was silent. But war was coming. Red line ships had arrived, 20 of them. Black, sharp, covered in old battle marks. They looked like ghosts from a forgotten war. They formed a circle around Earth. Inside Earth's command center, deep underground, Chancellor Miriam Dane stood with her generals. She stared at the giant energy shield covering the planet. It will hold, she said. A general answered, not forever. In orbit, Commander Work's ship floated just outside the shield. Vecra and Zernak stood beside him, watching the red line fleet surround Earth. They're not attacking yet, Zernak said. They're testing, Work replied, looking for a weakness. One of the council officers on board shouted, signal from the red line, open broadcast. Work turned to the screen. Play it. A face appeared. Hard, gray eyes, red-lined armor. General Kale. His voice was calm. People of Earth, you locked us away. You tried to forget us, but we remember. He leaned closer. We were not built for peace. We were built for justice. Now, justice comes home. Then he said the words that froze every heart watching. Open your gates, or we break them. The screen went black. Inside Earth's defense bunker, Chancellor Dane stood firm. Don't answer, she said. The general looked nervous. Ma'am, they'll attack. She looked him in the eye. Let them try. Minutes later, the sky turned red. The red line ships began firing. Powerful energy beams slammed into the shield. The whole planet shook. Work's ship rocked in the blast. The shield's holding, Vecra said, gripping the wall. For now, Work muttered, but they're not just attacking. They're measuring. Down on Earth, citizens hid in bunkers. Cities went dark. Soldiers waited, ready for battle they didn't understand. This wasn't just war. It was a reckoning. In space, a red line ship moved closer to the shield. It deployed strange pods. The pods attached to the shield's surface. Zernak zoomed in. What are those? Work's face turned pale. Burrow bombs. They don't blast through. They eat through. Vecra's eyes widened. How long before they break the shield? Hours, maybe less. Zernak turned. Then we don't have time. Work nodded. We need to stop those bombs. Commander Work called Earth's command. Chancellor Dane answered. We have a plan, he told her. A small strike team. We take out the Red Line's command ship, cut off the head. She looked tired, but strong. Go, she said. If we fall, fall fighting. Work chose 5 warriors, 1 from each council race, including Vecra. They flew in a stealth ship, small, fast, silent. Their target, General Kell's ship. They passed under the battle line, dodging beams and mines. Inside the Red Line ship, alarms began. Kale turned slowly. They're here. He smiled. Let them come. Work's team landed in a dark hangar. No guards, no sounds. Too easy, Vecra whispered. As they moved in, Red Line soldiers dropped from the ceiling. Silent, fast, deadly. Blasters lit the halls. The team fought hard. 2 were lost quickly. Rourke and Vecra pushed forward. We need the control core, he shouted. They'd reached the center of the ship. There, in a glass chamber, was the power brain, pulsing red and black. Vecra began planting charges. Then Kale appeared. He moved like a machine. Fast. Strong. He grabbed Rourke by the throat. "You're one of us," Kale growled. "Not anymore," Rourke gasped. Kale threw him across the room. Vecra stood between them. "You're not justice," she said. "You're just hate." Kale pointed at her. "Hate remembers what peace forgets." She raised her weapon. "Then forget this." She fired. Kale fell. They blew the core. The Red Line command ship began to shake. Outside, every Red Line ship paused. Without orders, they stopped. Some powered down. Others drifted. Back on Earth, the bombs on the shield turned dark. The sky cleared. The siege was over. Inside the broken Red Line ship, Rourke limped beside Vecra. "You did it," she said. "No," he replied. "We did." Back on Earth, Chancellor Dane gave a speech to the whole planet and the Council worlds. "We stood together, human and alien, and we held the line." She looked into the camera. "But this is not the end. Something, or someone, woke the Red Line, and they are still out there." In the dark of deep space, one Red Line ship floated silently. Inside, a message played on repeat. "Phase 1 complete. Begin Phase 2. And a new target appeared on the screen. The Galactic Council itself. Commander Ash stood in front of a large window on the Vengeance. The stars looked peaceful, but he knew they weren't. Somewhere in the darkness, something was moving. Something ancient. Something deadly. Behind him, the bridge was silent. Everyone had seen the last message from Horizon's Reach. The ship was gone, wiped from space. No explosion, no signal, just silence. Ash turned to his crew. "They are not just coming," he said. "They're already here." In the council chamber, High Speaker Vareen slammed his hand on the table. "The vote is final," he shouted. "We must stand with humanity." The chamber shook with shouting voices. "They bring war. They bring death. They bring truth," Vareen replied. But the council was splitting. Many still wanted to expel the humans. Others feared them. Some still thought the real threat was a lie. Only a few had begun to see the truth. And then, the council made its choice. They voted. Humanity was to be cut off. Ash received the message an hour later. He stared at the words. "The council has withdrawn its support. All Earth ships must leave council space within 48 hours. Kale looked angry. "They're abandoning us." Ash nodded. "They never stood with us." Rhea spoke up, but they saw the signal. The probe, the death of Horizon's Reach. How can they ignore that? Ash's voice was quiet, because fear is louder than truth. Back on Earth, every screen, every station, every ship received the same emergency message from Vengeance. Ash's voice played across the stars. "Earth is alone. The council has turned away, but the shadows are real, and they are coming. We will not run. We will not hide. Prepare for war." The world changed that day. Across every continent, humans stopped what they were doing. Factories turned on. Ships were built. Old soldiers returned to duty. Children trained in drills. Satellites aligned. Nuclear cores lit up. For the first time in 300 years, Earth stood ready for total war. Inside a hidden base under Mars, Ash walked through a steel hallway with Kale and Rhea. They passed massive war machines, old weapons from the last Great War, and prototypes never tested. Kale looked around. "I thought we destroyed all this." Ash shook his head. "We buried it, just in case." Rhea asked, "In case of what?" Ash looked her in the eye. "In case no one stood with us." Far beyond, the shadows moved again. More signals were lost. A mining colony on the edge of the galaxy went dark. Then a trade ship, then a listening post. Each time, the same message was left behind. Yuhu Arisiin. No ships, no weapons, just Erasure. Whatever this enemy was, it didn't fight like others. It erased. Inside the council, chaos grew. 3 more embassies were attacked. Protests turned into riots. Accusations flew. The High Speaker was removed from power. Varn's elder stepped forward and took control. He stood in front of the chamber. We must protect our people. Humanity brought the storm. Now we must close our borders. Some cheered. Others stayed silent. None realized the storm was already inside. In deep space, vengeance received a strange signal. It was not human, not council, not Sarkol. Raya tried to trace it. It's repeating, she said. Not words. A countdown. Ash stared at the screen. Countdown to what? The timer read. 72 hours. Kel's voice was quiet. Until what, Commander? Ash's voice turned cold. Until the end. On Earth, military forces activated old defense networks. The skies were filled with black steel. Orbiting weapons locked into place. People no longer asked if the threat was real. They asked when it would arrive. In every city, the same words were heard. Humanity is alone. But that has never stopped us before. Inside the Vengeance, Ash stood before a holographic display of the galaxy. Enemy signals were spreading like cracks in glass. They're not invading, he said. They're surrounding us. Kale frowned. Then what's their goal? Ash didn't blink. Everything. Rhea whispered, what do we do? Ash looked at her. We give them something they've never seen before. She asked, what's that? Ash smiled slightly. Humans, fighting with nothing left to lose. And far in the cold of space, the Shadow Fleet stopped. Hundreds of massive ships, black as death, pointed toward one blue planet. They did not send warnings. They did not ask questions. They came to erase. But Earth was waiting. The galaxy was in panic. Red Line attacks had spread. Mining colonies, research stations, outposts, all hid in silence, all left with the same message. Justice, not peace. Worlds were afraid. But Earth remained silent. No response from their leaders. No message to the Council. No sign of defense. It was as if Earth had disappeared. In the Council Hall, Vecra paced in front of a star map. Red marks showed every attack. They're not random, she said. They're drawing a circle. Zernak frowned. Around what? She tapped the center of the circle. Earth. Commander Rourke stood beside them. His face was hard, his voice low. They're going home. What happens when they reach Earth? Zernak asked. Rourke answered without blinking. Either Earth joins them, or Earth is destroyed. Vecra leaned closer. You don't think Earth is behind this? No, he said, because I know who is. Far away, in deep space, a Red Line ship docked at a hidden station. Inside, a figure walked through dark halls, tall, strong, his armor marked with blood and ash. He entered a command room. A dozen Red Line commanders stood waiting. They saluted. He nodded once. General Kale, the first Red Line soldier, the legend. His voice was cold steel. We were made to end war, he said. The Council betrayed us. Earth buried us. Now, we rise. One officer asked, what if Earth resists? Kale smiled. Then we burn it too. Back at the Council, Vecra finally found something. A signal. A weak, broken message from Earth. She enhanced it, cleaned the static. A human face appeared, an old woman, tired and pale. Her name, Chancellor Miriam Dane, leader of the Earth Assembly. She spoke slowly, clearly. We did not send the Red Line. We did not wake them. We tried to destroy their code. We failed. Now they seek revenge, not just against you, but against us too. The video glitched. If they reach Earth, They will turn it to ash. Then silence. The signal ended. Zernak stared at the screen. Earth is not the enemy, he said. Vecra nodded. They're the next target. The council met again. This time, they were united. Zernak stood and spoke with power. For years we feared humans. Now, we need them. He looked around. We must go to Earth. Warn them. Defend them. If Earth falls, we all fall. Some agreed. Others were afraid. But Vecra said, it's time we stop hiding behind borders. This is our war too. Commander Rourke stepped forward. I will go with you. I was born on Earth. I'll make sure the message is heard. One day later, 3 ships left the council station. Fast, armed, quiet. Inside them, diplomats, scientists, and warriors. Their destination, Earth, a planet that might soon become a battlefield. As they flew, Rourke stood alone at a window. Vecra walked up beside him. You knew this would happen, she said. Rourke nodded. Red Line wasn't just a weapon. It was a promise. Vecra frowned. A promise. He looked her in the eye. A promise that if peace ever became weakness, they'd come back to finish what war began. They reached Earth's orbit after 4 days. But something was wrong. The planet was dark. No lights on the surface. No ships in orbit. No response to messages. Rourke activated the emergency signal used by Earth's top generals. No reply. Zernak leaned forward. Did they already arrive? Rourke scanned again. Then his face turned white. No, they haven't come yet. Vecra asked, then what happened? He pointed at the map. Earth wasn't dark because of damage. It was dark because of a shield. A massive energy dome now covered the planet. Earth had sealed itself off. Inside Earth's defense command, Chancellor Dane stood alone in a deep bunker. Screens showed the sky, the shield, the stars. A general stood beside her. They're coming, he said. She nodded. Then let them, she whispered. We'll show them that Earth may bend, but never breaks. Outside, in the darkness of space, the Red Line ships approached like silent wolves. The hidden war had reached its final battlefield. And Earth was waiting. The halls of the council were no longer quiet. Whispers followed every step. Accusations passed through closed doors. Guards walked in pairs. Eyes watched from every corner. Something had changed. Someone had died. And now, everyone was afraid. Inside a hidden room beneath the council chambers, the Varn elder stood with 2 others, the Thurine assistant, and a hooded figure from the dark planet of Etrian. They're tearing us apart, the Varn elder said. Humans came with blood, and now the council bleeds. We warned you, the Etrian agent said. Truth is dangerous. You said they wouldn't survive, that Earth would burn. But they didn't, and now they're here. The room went silent for a moment. Then the Varn elder spoke again. It doesn't matter. 1 death was enough to break the balance. Let the council fall. We will rule what's left. At the same time, Commander Ash stood in a large observation deck aboard the Vengeance, Earth's flagship. Stars spread across the window like a sea of diamonds. But his eyes were cold. One of his officers, Lieutenant Kale, entered. They found nothing, sir, Kale said. Whoever killed the counselor was careful. No prints, no tech, no signs. Ash didn't move. They're trying to push us out, Kale added. Some members are calling for our arrest. Ash finally turned. Let them. Kale looked confused. Sir. Ash walked to a screen and brought up a hidden recording, taken from inside the council walls. The Varn, the Etrian, and Thurine. They were in a private meeting an hour before the murder, Ash said. No official reason. No records. You think they planned it? I don't think, Ash replied. I know. Kale stared. What now? We push back, Ash said. With truth. Back in the council chamber, High Speaker Vareen sat alone. His hands trembled slightly as he looked over old files he wasn't supposed to see. Earth's distress calls, their unanswered warnings, the denial logs, all marked with Varn's signatures. A voice behind him broke the silence. "You finally see it now." Vareen turned. Ash stood at the door. The guards didn't stop him. Ash placed a small device on the table. It projected several holograms. Evidence, messages, recordings. Everything. "You said the council was about peace," Ash said quietly. "But peace built on silence isn't peace. It's a grave." Vareen nodded slowly. "We made mistakes." "No," Ash said. "You made choices." Ash stepped closer. "Someone buried our calls, let our people die, then tried to blame us for murder." Vareen looked up. "Why tell me this?" "Because you still have power, and soon you'll have to choose. Protect the truth, or die with the lie." Before Vareen could speak, the chamber doors burst open. Council guards rushed in. "High Speaker," one shouted, "there's been an attack on the Etrian embassy. Dozens dead." "What?" Vareen stood quickly. Ash's eyes narrowed. "It's starting," he whispered. Outside the council world, deep in orbit, a cloaked ship moved in silence. It had no flag, no beacon, no name. Inside, a figure watched the chaos below on several screens. "The humans were not supposed to survive," the figure whispered. "Now they bring fire to our door." Another voice answered from the shadows. "Shall we move?" "Yes, it's time." The ship turned. Its engines glowed red. It headed into deep space, toward the dark border. In the council chambers, panic spread. 2 embassies bombed. Dozens injured. Rumors flew like birds with broken wings. Ash returned to the Vengeance, standing before his crew. "They want war," he said, "not with the Exarchal. With us. They want to make humans the enemy." Kale asked, "Should we prepare to fight?" Ash shook his head. "No, not yet. We fight the war that matters." He pointed to a new signal on their screen, an old transmission decoded from the Etrian archives. A message from beyond the known galaxy. The same energy signature as the Exarchal, but older, deeper. Ash spoke slowly. "The real war hasn't started yet." Cal's voice dropped. "Then who started this one?" Ash turned away, his voice like stone. "Those who fear truth." He looked at the stars again. "And we're going to drag the truth into the light." The outer colonies were quiet. Too quiet. 3 small alien worlds, Kavra, Dylan, and Marthas, had gone silent over the past month. No trade signals, no reports, no messages. At first, the Galactic Council thought it was just a technical problem. Then a message arrived. A single broken signal. A voice whispered through static. They came in black ships, human flags. No words, just fire. Then silence. The council panicked. Not openly, of course. They sent scout ships. Quietly. Secretly. One of those ships was the Glintel, a small, fast recon vessel. On board was Captain Wren, a cautious but clever alien from the Jorb species. His body was made of smooth stone, but his heart was gentle. Wren and his team reached the first silent world, Kavra, or what was left of it. The planet was burned. Cities turned to ash. Metal twisted like paper. The team hovered above the ruins in silence. "It wasn't pirates," Wren said. "Pirates steal." These attackers destroyed everything. There were no signs of life. No bodies. Only shadows burned into walls, like people had been erased by fire. Then they found a piece of a wall. A symbol was burned into it, a red line cutting through a white star. The same symbol Vecra had seen on the human ships. Wren didn't speak. He recorded everything and moved on to the second colony. Dylan. Same story. But this time, there was a survivor. One. She was a small child from the Telmar race. She hid in an underground freezer. Cold, shaking, terrified. She couldn't speak, but she pointed at the sky. Ren showed her a picture of different ships. She pointed at the human one. His heart sank. Back at the council hall, the humans still sat calmly. Their ships still hovered above the city, but no messages were being sent, no answers to questions. Zernak called another emergency meeting. "We have seen signs of human attacks," he said, "but we must be careful. Perhaps it is a trick. Perhaps someone pretends to be human." Vecra stood up. That was rare. She was not a leader, but now she had to speak. "I compared the attack pattern," she said. "All 3 colonies were destroyed the same way. Quick, silent. No survivors except one." She pressed a button. The screen showed the burned symbols. The red line through the white star. Same symbol, same method, same silence, she continued. "These are not pirates. This is something else." "But why?" another member asked. "Why would humans attack us before joining the council?" Vecra hesitated. "I don't think they want to join," she said. "I think they want to watch us, or test us, or punish us." Someone scoffed. "Punish us? For what?" No one had an answer. Meanwhile, on the human ship, Commander Work stared at a map, a hologram. It showed dozens of planets. Some had red dots on them. He tapped one. "Marthas." A voice from behind asked, "Are we moving too fast?" Work didn't turn around. "They betrayed us once," he said. "We won't give them the chance to do it again." The officer behind him nodded slowly. "Understood, sir." Back in the council hall, Vecra received a new message. It was from Captain Wren. "3rd colony found." The message said, "Same damage. But we found something else." A video attached. Vecra opened it. It showed a piece of human technology. A helmet. A camera on it still worked. It had recorded everything. She watched the video. A city full of people. Then black ships arrived from the sky. No warning. No talking. Doors opened. Soldiers in black armor jumped out. Laser fire. Explosions. Screams. But it wasn't chaos. It was organized. Each movement was clean. Controlled. Like a machine. Then the leader of the soldiers looked at the camera. The face wasn't human. It was a mask. A helmet shaped like a skull. The red line symbol was on its forehead. He raised one hand and pointed directly at the screen. Then the video cut out. Vecra's hands shook. She showed the video to the council. Gasps filled the room. Zernak looked pale. "These are not the humans we expected," he whispered. "No," Vecra said. "These are something worse." She looked at the screen again. And she asked the question no one wanted to say out loud. "If this is not Earth's doing, then who is controlling those ships?"